Hi, this is Nathan Cavedo from the Merced County Office of Education, your host for this episode of Community Conversations, a weekly radio show brought to you by KYOS. Community Conversations features local people talking about education, government, and community activities and issues in Merced County.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. Our first guest this week is John Curry. He's the superintendent of Weaver Union School District here in Merced, here to talk about the upcoming musical production of The Little Mermaid. John, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Anytime. So, when I heard that you guys were doing a musical, and this isn't the first time, that is so amazing to me that there are schools doing musicals. I'm completely unaware of any other school in Merced County that puts on a musical. What was the idea behind this?
Well, it's something that our district, I think, has done over the past 6 to 8 years. Every other year they get together a group of 4th through 8th grade students, and they actually put on a junior production of Disney classics, or for one year they did Willy Wonka as a musical as well. And they start at the beginning of the year. We have the whole tryouts, the whole, would come and do your thing and auditions. And they select about 20 to 30 students to help. Most of those students are in the ensemble, but they also pick the kids that were helping out in the back. About 8 of our teachers, 4th through 8th graders, help with the students. Kind of keeping track of them when they're not on stage, and they actually practice almost the entire year. They'll start in early August with auditions, and they'll go and do the performance at the end of February or March.
Your school district is on a little bit of a different schedule than the other ones. You guys start a little earlier, don't you?
Right, we start a little bit earlier, and we have a 2-week break at the trimester, so we break it up into 3 increments in our school year. So we get 2 weeks off at the end of October and 2 weeks off in February, but that's prime time for them to do their practicing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the Little Mermaid is the production this year, and you said there's about 20 to 30 students?
There's probably about 30 students altogether with the stagehands and all the actors.
And traditionally, where have you had the performances?
Yeah, traditionally we've been doing it at the Merced Playhouse, and so that was limiting us, only about 200 seats there. We actually went to the Merced Theater executive director and their board and asked if we could utilize their venue this year, and I have to say they've been very gracious with us and given us a great opportunity. We're renting their facility out for 2 full weeks, and
wow.
we can seat what,
Up to
1,100?
12? Yeah, 11 or 1,200, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and the acoustics we all know in there are just amazing. I could literally stand in the very back and listen to someone on the stage talking in a regular voice. The kids are going to love it. It's going to be huge for them, and we're going to be able to sell more tickets because we were having to turn people away.
And the tickets are $5?
They're going to be at $5. We're going to have them on sale through all the school offices and possibly through the County Office of Education, and we might see if there are a couple of businesses locally that would like to do it for us as well.
I bet there are downtown. We'll talk after the interview.
You bet. Thanks.
So this goes on from there's quite a few performances, February 25th through March 2nd.
Right. So what we're doing is we do the show during the daytime for our district students on the 26th, 27th, 28th. They do a dress rehearsal on the 25th, of course. Then they do the shows the first, which is Friday night. They're going to do the premiere evening. They'll be about, I think, around 7 o'clock for the curtain. And then Saturday they do a matinee, and they'll do another evening show. But those shows that they're doing on the 26th, 27th, and 28th are going to be our students. And then we're probably going to open it up to other school districts if they want to bring their kids to it as well. Classes like to go on a field trip because there's not a whole lot of arts in education anymore, and this is a great opportunity for students to go and watch their peers performing.
Definitely, and I will have to say that the MCOE Foundation has helped to try to bring some of that back with our production of The Hobbit.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure that
summer.
Actually a few of the students that were in The Hobbit are actually going to be in this cast as well.
Oh, they're going to be great actors.
Yeah.
They probably are great actors already, but by the time they're in high school or college, they are going to be ready to go.
I agree.
So do you know how often they have rehearsals?
Yeah, they do rehearsals 3 days a week. And, it's kind of like an after school. It's almost like, joining a club or in the high school or joining a sports team. They they have a high expectations of their students as far as involvement. And what happens at the end of it, though, is they put on a polished production. And I will tell you this: it is not a junior high production. It is way better than a junior high production. The first time I went, I had a little trouble keeping my emotions still when they broke into the opening song, because it was that good. I mean, I've been in a lot of high school productions, and this was on par or even better than the high school productions that I've seen.
Because you came to the Weaver School District, what, three years ago?
3 years ago.
Okay,
right.
so you came in and they had been doing this already.
Right, they'd been doing it, and I showed up for the first one. They did Beauty and the Beast Junior.
I remember
2
that,
years
yeah.
ago, and I just was blown away, and I can't imagine what they're going to do with Little Mermaid. We've actually seen a couple of scenarios. They've done some singing for us at a board meeting and at a Christmas program, and to hear little Ariel singing some songs in front of all these people is just amazing.
Oh wow, yeah, that's so. The day performances are going to be open to schools throughout Merced County.
Right, because we only have about 800 students in each of our schools, so each day we're going to have a different school go to see it. So there will probably be upwards of another 400 seats available. No, not 400. Let me do my math. Another 300 seats
300,
available.
yeah.
So and we'll be in touch with folks on how they can arrange that. They're going to, of course, have to get their own transportation there, which can be a challenge, but it's well worth it. So.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to applaud you as a superintendent for coming into a school district, seeing the value in a program like this, and keeping it going. Because I'd imagine it does cost a little bit of money, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very worth it. And just to see that what it does for the students and what it does for our community, they're very proud of this. In fact, it's an expectation. I don't know that we could not do it at this point.
And for you to be the only junior high in the county to have a musical is really amazing.
Right, and we're not saying that there are not other junior high students that are talented, but what we're saying is that we're happy to give those students this opportunity.
Great. Okay, and so The Little Mermaid, again, it's from February 25th through March 2nd. If folks are interested in finding out more information, can they give your school district a call?
Yeah, they give our school district a call. In fact, they can give any of our school offices a call, and we can give them as much information as we have at this point.
So anything else going on in Weaver? We've got just about 2 more minutes here.
The only other thing we have going on is the recent facilities plans. We are looking at doing a modernization to the middle school. It's 60 years old, and it's going to get we're going to replace some classrooms and portables, and we're going to look in the next year or two also at building another elementary school, because we're a little tight.
Kind of at capacity right now.
Yeah, we're kind of we've got a lot of portable buildings, and we're going to go ahead and replace those, and it looks like we're continuing to grow, and it looks like we need another elementary school, so we're looking forward to that.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today and talking about The Little Mermaid. I'd love to have you come on another time and maybe bring one of the teachers from Weaver or from the junior high school who has been very involved with this, and get a little more in-depth about exactly what goes into it and how much vocal training some of these kids have, or some of them that have no vocal training at all.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing what they do, I tell you. And I'll happy to have them. We'll come back. We'll be happy to.
Fantastic. All right. John Curry, Superintendent of the Weaver Union School District. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
Thanks for tuning in to Community Conversations on KYOS. I hope you're having a great day. Next up, we have Rod Webster. He's the chairman of the Merced group of the Tehipite chapter of the Sierra Club. Did I get that right, Rod?
That's correct. You got it.
And boy, this word Tehipite just was completely foreign to me. I have it spelled out phonetically so that I don't mispronounce it. What does that word refer?
I'm afraid you're going to ask that.
Is that a Native American tribe?
It sounds Native American, and I should know what it means, but I'm not going to venture a guess.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it at that. Anyway, great to have you on the show. Let's talk a little bit about what the Sierra Club is.
Yeah, we have about 200 members in our local group, but the Sierra Club, of course, is a national presence. It's, in fact, international at this point. It got its start clear back in 1892. John Muir was one of the founders and the first president. That name should ring a bell with locals. He, of course, was instrumental in getting Yosemite National Park designated as such. And the Sierra Club has had a major role in national parks throughout its history, not only in getting them established, ones like Glacier and the Grand Canyon, and Redwood National Park and Kings Canyon here locally, but also in making sure those parks are protected. Very often there's projects that threaten the parks. There's been, for instance, dams proposed for the Grand Canyon back in history. There's been the Yellowstone River was to be dammed at one time. Glacier Park was to have a dam. So it's not just establishing the parks, but it's also protecting them that is an important role.
How do you feel about the Hetch Hetchy Dam?
Yeah, well, of course, a dam like that would never be built in this day and age.
Right.
It was built long before the environmental movement or just the thought of public lands for people to enjoy and to be protected was in place. I fully support the effort to remove the dam and restore that valley to the beautiful, pristine second Yosemite Valley.
And that's what I've heard is that after it would take some time, probably about a century, but it would revert back to looking very similar to Yosemite Valley.
Yeah, and you may know that was on the San Francisco ballot recently. It's a perfect time to do that because that dam needs a huge expenditure to update it and repair it. And you could easily build dams downstream down here in the foothills and then reestablish that valley up there.
Well, and it's so strange to me driving up in that region. I've been to the Strawberry Music Festival a couple of times.
Right.
That's at Camp Mather, which is right before you get up to Hetch Hetchy in Yosemite. And it's all owned by the city and county of San Francisco. And there are huge signs that say that all over the place.
It's bizarre.
It is. So what is the... Let's talk about the local Merced group here. How often do you guys meet? What exactly do you do?
Sure. Our mission is much like that of the National, to help people explore, enjoy, and protect our natural lands. And part of that is just educating, getting people aware of what's around and what's available. Particularly here locally, there's a ton of stuff, not just Yosemite, although it's kind of the diamond. Mm-hmm. We have monthly programs on the third Thursday of each month, and the public is cordially invited. You can usually find out what's up for as far as the speaker and the program by keeping an eye on the local newspapers. We also have a website you can go to. That's www.tehipite, TEHIPITE, SierraClub.org. And on there you can look for the Merced Group's activities. And best of all, you could get on my email list and get brief monthly reminders.
And do you guys take, I imagine you take trips up to the Sierra Nevada?
Yeah, actually, the outings program, we coordinate through the Fresno chapter, which is, we're part of the Fresno chapter. Mm-hmm. And they have outings year-round, including during the winter months here. There's snowshoe outings and cross-country skiing. They're designated for different levels of expertise, so you can hopefully pick and choose something appropriate to your skill level. And of course, there's normal hikes, both day hikes and overnight hikes when the weather's a little nicer.
I had the opportunity to go snowshoeing in Yosemite Valley about 2 years ago. And boy, if you want to work out, go when there's about 1.5 feet, 2 feet of snow on the ground, and that will really, well, that was a really trying day to get through all of it. And then it started snowing while I was out there, so it made it even a little more worrisome. But we made it out okay, and I'll tell you what, the best place to go is the Ahwahnee, because you can warm up by that enormous fireplace after being out in the snow all day.
Sounds like a great outing.
It was. What are some of the local issues that you guys try to tackle?
Yeah, we're involved with on a number of fronts. Responsible planning is real important to us. We've been involved with the general plan updates, both for the city of Merced and currently the county general plan update, which is in process. We want this to be a livable, sustainable community that's healthy for everyone and a pleasure to live in. And that requires some vigilance. These plans are going to be how our counties and cities are managed for the next 20 years or so. We're also involved with air quality issues, which is huge here in the valley. We've got terrible asthma problems. We work in conjunction with the local asthma coalition as well as the Central Valley Air Coalition. And we've also recently been involved with the Merced Climate Action Plan, which is our local city's efforts to clean our air up a bit in the next decade or so.
Yeah, I read that we have our air, the only air worse in the nation is LA. Central Valley is number 2.
Right, although if you
according to the list that I read, we were number 2.
Yeah, we're always in the top 5 nationwide.
Nationwide.
If you look at the valley as a whole, it's worse the further you move down the valley. So
Yeah,
we're not
yeah,
in the
definitely.
worst of
No, we
locations,
aren't.
but it's still plenty bad, even here in the winter months.
So we just have another minute here. Anything else you'd like to add?
Just want to, again, extend an invitation for people to join us for our presentations as well as our outings. Our February one is a couple that hiked the John Muir Trail, all 210 miles plus of it, last summer, and they went ultralight, did it in 18 days, and they prepared all their own food. They used no freeze-dried or store-bought food. So I'm real interested to hear what they made and how they prepped it. And
So am I.
anyway, we've got other programs. Some are more educational and informational, and some are more entertainment and inspiration. So come join us on the third Thursday of each month.
And where's that at?
It's held at United Methodist Church, which is down on Yosemite Parkway. But easiest to contact us for details or look in the paper. My phone number is 723-4747, and you're welcome to give me a call at any time.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Rod Webster, chairman of the Merced group of the Sierra Club.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Our next guest this week, this is actually a special treat. We have Henrik Joel-Hansen. He is the conductor of the Merced Symphony Orchestra, fresh here from Sacramento. We had a little bit of traffic on the way here, unfortunately. Here to talk about the upcoming pop concert on January 25th at the Merced Theater. Henrik, thanks so much for coming down and joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's see, the performance on the 25th is actually, the one in the evening will be the second performance that day.
Exactly.
The first one is for kids. It's for Merced County students. And I'm looking at the list that you just gave me here, and you have quite a bit of contemporary stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you're going to start it out with the Superman March. You've got a Harry Potter suite. You even have the Star Wars theme here.
Right. And we'll do a few themes also from Phantom of the Opera and Les Mis, which is a movie that'll come out in January.
Oh yeah, I've read a lot of good things about that. So let's talk about how you got involved with the Merced Symphony Orchestra. How long have you been involved with music, studied music, been a conductor?
Well, being a conductor is probably since I was 16. My old teacher in my choir could not be there for a week, and he asked if I would take over and work with Messiah with the choir. And so it went very well, and I got notices afterwards saying that it was as if I had been sitting in that chair all my life, But I was only 16, so that prompted me to sort of like figure out maybe there was something here for me.
And where was that at?
That was actually in Copenhagen.
Okay, in Copenhagen.
Where I'm born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And from there, where did you go? Where did you go to study music?
I studied at the Royal Danish Music Conservatory and at the university also in Copenhagen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took my postgraduate degree in Stockholm with one of the great choral conductors in the world. And then for orchestral conducting, I went to the Royal Academy of Music and had some fantastic experiences there. London is truly one of the great music towns of the world. And after that, I came to New York and went to Tanglewood a summer, met Bernstein, had a great time and did a little orchestra when I came back to New York and did my debut concert in Carnegie Hall. And
wow.
Sort of like, that was kind of how it all started.
So that's pretty impressive. Let me ask you this. I studied music a little bit when I was in college, and I wanted to be a music major, but things just took me in a different direction. When you're studying to be a conductor specifically, are you focusing mainly on music theory, or what is it exactly that you focus on?
Well, there's three things you really focus on. You focus on learning the score. Mm-hmm. I mean, you really have to know how all the parts goes and all the difficult things about the instruments so you can come up with the right kind of explanation. Then you have to be able to perform it yourself on the piano. And it's a very good training because you really get to know the piece from the inside. And then the third part is, of course, the choreography that you do with your arms.
Right.
And but you can't really do that part unless you really know the music very well. And so there's sort of like these steps how to get there. And then there are rules for how you do the different beats and how you do fermatas and how you do accelerandos and diminuendos, different dynamics. Even articulation is very important. You can have all these things in your hand. And when you see conductors, the great conductors there, they are truly able to incorporate everything of all of these things in just one single movement. And so it has been wonderful. I've had a chance to work with some of those people, and it has been wonderful for me to get that inspiration.
So choreography is a huge part of it.
It's, in the end, that's what everybody will see, and that's the ability to communicate sound. It's all nonverbal, you know, so it's like, how do you actually translate those sounds into hand movements and arm movements? It's a very interesting study, actually.
And you know, I've seen you conduct a few times, and mainly at these, you've done several children's concerts.
We do them every year. That's
here,
right.
Here in Merced at Golden Valley High School.
Right, that's right.
And I've photographed them and got some great pictures of you too. And you really do a good job of explaining to the kids what's going on.
Thank you.
So how do you pick the pieces? And we had talked about this briefly, excuse me, before the interview started. And you said that this is similar to what the students will see the morning of January 25th.
Yeah, we have something that are specific for the kids, of course, and something that is specific for the elder people that's coming.
For the adults.
For the adults. That's right, exactly. And one of the things that we'll do for the children are a hip-hop fanfare that we have in there. There's a Welsh composer called Carl Jenkins that did a piece called Palladio, which is sort of like very rhythmic and very aggressive in the strings. And we're going to have a remix on it. We're going to have a percussion guy playing drums. We're going to have a DJ actually come in and do the actual DJ part while we play.
Spin records?
Or CDs probably.
Or, okay, well, right, CDs.
Yeah. And then we'll have a couple of dancers coming from the UC Merced hip-hop movement and perform. So.
And you also are an instructor at UC Merced.
That's correct. I teach music there. A course in classical music and a course in popular music. So, and there's...
It's part of the student's general education requirement, right?
Okay. That's right.
Okay. And you live in Sacramento.
That's true.
And you also work up there. What do you do up in Sacramento?
I work for the Sacramento Ballet. Whenever they do performances and they use an orchestra, I will be doing that. And I also have my own orchestra there called the Gold Country Chamber Orchestra. And I have another regional orchestra that I work with in the foothills. I used to have a couple of more orchestras, but coming to Merced, you know, and starting at the UC has taken up a lot of time. And so I gave up some of that to come down here. And since I have the orchestra here, it's wonderful the way the UC and the orchestra has been building a bridge. Lots of our concerts we have had a wonderful opportunity to do there at the UC, and also to the benefit of the students there.
And so this Pops concert is at the Merced Theater. The public performance is at 7:30 p.m. on January 25th. Folks can get tickets at Merced Theater's website, which is Merced Theater, and it's theaterre.org. Or they can call the box office at 381-0500. And you had said that this is your third performance at the Merced Theater. The first was the opening night.
The opening night was...
I bet that was phenomenal.
It really was. I mean, there was a full hall, and it was the first time they had an orchestra there for a long while, and so it was very exciting to see how the acoustic works, and it's a fantastic place to perform. They did a really super job of getting the acoustics reverberating through the hall.
I've heard so many people say that, too.
Yeah.
I've only been... I can't say I've seen a music performance there, only films at this point. So I'm really interested to come and check this one out.
I look forward to see you there.
Again, it is January 25th, 7:30 p.m. at the Merced Theater. More information at Merced Theater. That's theaterre.org. Let's see, we've got just another, looking back at the clock here, 2 minutes left. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, there's a couple of things. For the evening program for the adults, we will have our youth audition winner every year. The orchestra offer a youth audition up to local people and to people from the surrounding areas to about 18, 19 years of age, and they get an opportunity to come and perform with the symphony. And so this year it's Nathan Hunsuck on the cello that won the first prize. And not...
It's Nathan Hunsuck, are you serious?
Yes.
That is my youngest daughter's violin teacher's brother. The connection there. How wonderful.
That is amazing,
Yeah.
because the whole family has won first prizes over the years. There was a pianist and the sister is a...
Caitlin.
Yeah, Caitlin is a
Caitlin's
violinist.
sister. Oh, wow.
So...
And they all study the
Yeah.
Suzuki style. That's what she's learning right now. She's doing really well.
exactly.
So okay, he is the student winner.
He's the student winner. So, but he'll actually be playing both concerts. And I think one of the things that are really very special is the Harry Potter suite, because John Williams has been around for a long time. He's done a lot of film music, and he has a knack for getting the really essence of the pieces out. Like, for instance, in Hedwig's Flight, you have sort of like first the theme of the witches, and he has orchestrated it and harmonized it almost like a real melody, but it just has these little quirky twists and turns that make it into a perfect wizard music. And the flight itself is performed by a celeste, which is a glockenspiel, but you play it on the keyboard, and it goes like really sort of like totally virtuoso piece. And I just think he has done an incredible job of getting the essence of that series down on music.
And he also did the score for Jaws.
He did.
Yeah,
He did incredible.
So you guys need to work on that. I want you to add that one next time. That's my favorite movie. So I expect to see that next time. We're out of time, but it has been so nice to talk with you, Henrik.
But I want to mention that
Yes,
Lorraine
please
Walsh is also performing with us, one of the great soloists in town. And she's going to sing a couple of Gershwin's tunes and a couple of tunes from The Miss also. And it's a really great thing to have her on the program. She's a real pro, and we have worked with her before, and it has always been a wonderful relationship. So I'm very happy that she said yes to do this.
I was going to say, I know that you guys have worked with her before, and she has really been doing this for a while.
She has. And she also teaches at the UC.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Vocal.
All right, well, again, the Merced Symphony Orchestra Pops concert at the Merced Theater, January 25th, starts at 7:30 p.m. So nice to have you on the show, Henrik
Thanks.
Jewel Hansen, conductor of the Merced Symphony Orchestra.
Thank you for having me.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Linda Hoskins, Miguel Soto, and Jennifer Butler here with the Merced County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Quite a room full, huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's all nice and warm in here,
It
too.
it is warm today. Well, at least it's not too cold. It's kind of cold outside. So.
Yeah.
First of all, I guess, what is the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce?
Well, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is a voluntary 501c6 nonprofit organization, which has been in existence since 1947. At least we have records that go back that far.
To 1947?
Correct.
Goodness.
Decades. We've been around for decades. The Latino population in Merced County, according to the U.S. Department of Commerce census, for 2011, we have a total of 259,893. That's 2011 census. And the Hispanic population makes up 55.7% of that population.
Wow, it's grown. I
Very.
remember when it was right at 50%. For a long time, it hovered right around 50. So now the Hispanic population is up to 55%.
Correct. So it's obvious that the population and the chamber has a strong influence in our area. Consequently, the Hispanic Chamber has far-reaching implications by having access to the buying power, the labor market, and economic development of the Hispanic population in this county.
And so, Linda, you're the treasurer
Correct.
for the Hispanic Chamber. And Miguel, you're a board member?
Yeah, I'm a board member, and I'm also secretary for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. And Jennifer, what's your role with the Hispanic Chamber? You got to jump over here and get on the microphone.
I'm the administrative assistant.
Okay, so the administrative assistant. So you do all the jobs they don't want to do. That's basically okay. All right. So, do you guys have some upcoming activities or events, or are you looking for new members?
Well, actually, I wanted to say that we wanted to give you a little bit more information on the chamber.
Okay, please do.
It consists of Hispanic and non-Hispanic businesses and professional individuals who share a mutual desire to ensure a healthy economic and social economic basis that benefits our community. To date, we have approximately 135 members in our organization. Our mission is to promote Hispanic and non-Hispanic businesses and encourage economic development. We also want to provide a forum in which business issues are advocated. We want to encourage networking, and we want to market our members' products and services. The Chamber wants to create a partnership that will benefit and enhance the business climate in our community. You mentioned something about upcoming events. One example we have is an expo that we're doing, a business expo that we're doing, and Miguel has a little bit of information on that. Oh, sorry. He's going to give you some information on a workshop that we have coming up. That's our first event.
Yeah, the first event we have is a social media workshop. It's Friday, January 25th at 1 p.m. at United Way Conference Room at 658 West Main Street. And it has information on social media tactics for objectives, content, community management, and engagement. It's free admittance and limited seating, so reserve your spot today.
And that is hosted by Tony Renke?
Yeah, that's Tony Renke, Merced College educator.
I took a class from her. She does a lot of social media and kind of how to really get your name out there. It seemed like some of the folks that were in my class were just kind of unfamiliar with social media and how it works in general. And boy, she can really clue you in on specifically how it does work, how to get consistent messaging, and how much you need to do it. Because I didn't, I've done it for a while working in public affairs, but there are definitely certain times of the day, certain days of the week, things that I had not thought about before. So pretty informative workshop.
Right. She's excellent, and she loves what she does, so it shows. And we're very fortunate to have teamed up with her to help us do this workshop and more upcoming workshops in the future.
And you said that one was on January 25th at 1 p.m. at the United Way Conference Room?
That's correct.
And that's there on the corner of Main and N Streets.
Yes.
Yep. All right, so let's see. What else do we have going on
We
here?
also have the expo coming up, and Miguel, you want to give us some information on that?
Yeah, we have an expo coming up on April 4th. That's going to be at the Merced College Business Resource Center. And the hours are from 4 to 8, and it's free admittance too, so look forward to seeing you guys over there.
Okay, let's see here. And I also see on my little cheat sheet that you guys have a scholarship fund.
Yes.
For Linda Lopez. Oh, that makes me a little sad. I worked with
Did you know Linda
I worked with her
Lopez?
a lot.
Yes, she was an awesome lady. The Hispanic Chamber supports a local education system and that inspires the highest level of student achievement and learning opportunities. Hence, we have developed the Linda Lopez Scholarship Account or Fund that will benefit students from all Merced County high schools.
And let's see here. You said the membership, you had about, 135 members?
Correct.
Right
To
around
date, yes.
And if folks are interested in becoming a new member, how can they contact you?
Well, they will be talking to Jennifer. They can call our office number. Jennifer, you want to give them some information on that?
Come on, Jennifer.
You can call me at 384-9537. You can go to our website, which is www.mercedhcc.com, and fill out the application online. Or you can fax it over at 384-0934. Yeah.
Or you can come.
Or you can come in.
Yeah.
Our office is located inside the Greater Chamber of Commerce's office. It's at 1640 N Street in Merced.
Oh, okay, over there. That's right. I always forget that they moved. All right, so and it looks like you guys have a website also, mercedhcc.com.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right, we have just another few minutes here. Anything else you'd like to add?
Well, we did want to mention some of the benefits of joining the chamber. We offer business development, develop business connections. We provide business referrals. We have a membership directory listing that our members all have access to. Like we said, we are working on providing some seminars and workshops, trainings in the very near future. We've already got one scheduled for January. We do mixers and ribbon cuttings, so any businesses out there that want to have either a mixer or do a ribbon cutting, they can call Jennifer and schedule that. We also plan on bringing more technical assistance and business counseling. This year, we are teaming up with not only the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, but we're also members of the United States Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So we have some big plans for 2013. Anyone can be involved in our committees when we are planning events. If they just want to be part of it, they can call and be a volunteer for our different committees.
All right, well, you said you've got some great stuff planned for 2013. Would love to have you come back on the show and talk about that. We are now out of time, but it's been a pleasure. Linda Hoskins, Miguel Soto, and Jennifer Butler with the Merced County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
On the final segment of Community Conversations this week, we wanted to take a couple minutes and talk about someone that we worked with for some time. I'm here with Mike Conway from the city of Merced, and both of us worked with Sunstar photographer Marcy Stenberg for quite a bit of time. As most people probably know, she passed away in the month of December, and she will be dearly missed by a lot of folks out in the community. She was the first person on the scene at so many different either events or accidents. She literally slept next to a scanner.
At least one, if not two or three.
She had a couple scanners. I remember that. But let's start with you, Mike. I know that you worked with her a little earlier in her career.
Yeah, I was there when Marcy was hired, even back when she was a part-timer. So I go way back 28 years with Marcy.
So this is like the mid 80s, right around there? 80s sometime?
Yeah. Okay. And, Marcy was one who literally, she was there when a fire broke out. She would be there when the police sirens started going and dispatchers sent officers to the scene. She would show up oftentimes before the officers were there. She was there for football games, for quinceañeras. She was there for many events. I was talking to our public works director who said, there wasn't a picture in the paper of his kids that he could think of that wasn't taken by Marcy. She was involved in so many different events, so many different community activities that if you happen to have an old Sunstar in your house, I'll bet you if you flip through it, you'll find a picture taken by Marcy Stenberg.
Almost definitely, yeah. That's she was just recently, this past month, before she passed away, she was at our county spelling bees. She was at both of them, the elementary and the junior high. And I'll tell you what, she would just get up there right in the front near where all the judges sat, and kind of quietly sit back there and just start taking pictures of these kids. And I was thinking, Marcy, you can't stand up there. You're making these kids nervous. But she did a pretty good job of just being behind the scenes, not making a big deal out of herself, just kind of laying low. And the shots that she got of the students, there were a few of them that I saw where it just makes them, it was so real. You can see these kids really concentrating on whatever word they're trying to spell. So I worked at the newspaper with her about 9 years ago. I worked there for 3 years, so yeah, 6 to 9 years ago. And my experience working with her was I would often help her out with her captions. Eventually I would go over, she would ask me for some help with captions. I'd go over and help her with them. It came to the point where I just kind of wrote her captions for her. And that was an understanding that we had, where she would show me the pictures, I'd write the caption, good to go. And it helped streamline the process. One of the most memorable work experiences I had with Marcy was, and this was another tragic event, when Stefan Gray was shot and killed. Well, that's a Merced police officer. This was 7 or 8 years ago. It was
longer than that.
Was it longer than that? Okay, it might have been 8 or 9 years ago. It's good. Well, I'm reaching back here. It was some time ago. It took about between a week or 2 weeks before he was captured. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but we got word that he was captured. And that turned out to be my longest day at the newspaper. And I made a lot of overtime that day, but I ended up staying there, waiting for Marcy to come back. She went to the Merced jail, and I don't know how she got this shot, but she got a picture of Tao Rivera, who was convicted of killing Officer Gray. She got a shot of him on the phone, in the jumpsuit, just looking devastated. This was one of the best shots we'd ever had on the front page. But she came back to the office. We went through the pictures. This was probably about 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And she came back to the presses with me, and I got to yell, "Stop the presses."
You never get to do that.
No, like you see this in movies. No one ever does this. I was one of the lucky people who actually got to do this. I yelled it. They stopped it. They replayed that front page, and we got that new photo out there, because the other photo was just a picture of a press conference, which, I could take it or leave it. But this picture of this convicted, he's now convicted, but at the time an alleged cop killer on the front page in that outfit on the phone, just looking depressed, was the best piece of news I want to say that picture won an award. But Marcy's diligence, I think she worked from probably about 10 or 11 in the morning until 3 o'clock the next morning. Mm-hmm. And I bet when she went home, she had her scanner on right next to her bed.
Oh, yeah. Undoubtedly. And on a lighter side, Marcy was the kind of person who, I worked with her on the newspaper. I worked in another newspaper where I was on a competing newspaper with her. And then when I was working in the city, we worked together, on that. But then there was a time just this spring when my kids graduated from high school, and I was a parent, and she was there taking pictures at Merced High, and the graduation was out at Merced College, and the kids were coming in, walking into the field, and I was standing outside against the fence there, and I had positioned myself to take a picture of my two boys as they walked into the field, and Marcy was already out on the field, and she saw me standing there waiting for my kids to walk in, and Marcy goes, "Mike, come here, Michael." I go, no. And she goes, "No, come here, Michael. You get a better picture." I go, "No, Marcy, I'm not here." She's got her badges and all this and cameras dangling. She goes, "Michael, come here now." I go, "No, Marcy, no." And she goes, "Michael, get over here now." And she's starting to create a scene. And I'm thinking, there's these principals and all that who know me and all. She goes, "Get over here now." And I go, "You'll get a better picture." And I go, "All right, Marcy," because she's making a bigger scene than if I went on the field. So I end up following Marcy around there to take this picture, which I did. I got a much better picture of my boys as they came on there. But Marcy was just insisting that I come out there to take that picture. And I got this great shot of my kids as they walked the field there and all that. But Marcy was that kind of person who just wanted to do that. And when they had the memorial service, people were talking about how Marcy would take pictures of their kids and all that and then send them copies of the prints because she wanted them to have not just the picture that was in the paper, but a real, good copy of that so that they had a copy that they could put in a frame at home.
Well, and another on the lighter side of things. Boy, her chili, was it her chili? She would always make so much food for any work potluck that we had, and that's working at a daily newspaper is a lot of work. You're constantly working. There's not a whole lot of downtime. At least for me, there wasn't on the copy desk. There wasn't a lot of downtime. So when we were able to have a little celebration or some kind of get together, celebrate someone's birthday, people really did enjoy that time, and she made it that much better by literally bringing a crock pot full of something and then another container that she had also cooked because she wanted to be able to feed everyone in the whole building.
Yeah, she was always doing that, and she'd be baking odds and ends, and she was the kind of person who, if it was your birthday, she'd make sure you'd bake it. And what was interesting is, at a newspaper, you get, especially with reporters, you get a lot of kids who would graduate from college, and they'd be hundreds of miles or sometimes thousands of miles away from their family and all that, and she would adopt them. I mean, essentially, and so they'd mention that it was their birthday, boom, they'd have a cake, and Marcy'd be making cakes to make sure that, they had their birthday cake and things like that. And, she was just this kind of person who was always adopting kids and doing things like that. There was one story that somebody was telling where one of the last assignments that she shot was of some kids who were, this was right before Christmas, and she had gone out and taken some pictures of some little kids. And so she had taken these pictures and they appeared in the paper. And after she died, her kids were going through her house and they found these toys and stuff, and they couldn't figure out what these toys were for because she had already bought toys for her grandkids and all this stuff, and they couldn't figure out what they were for. Well, it turned out that they were for the kids that she had taken the pictures of. Wow. And a photographer for ABC who was in the Sunstar building was telling me the story, and he goes, "That's Marcy." And I'm sitting here, and the three of us are sitting here nodding our heads going, "Yep, that's Marcy."
When I was first working at the newspaper, I had a very, very young child, and every time I brought her in, Marcy would walk up and give her a cookie. And my kid absolutely loved Marcy. She loved going to the newspaper, and she would look for Marcy, try to track her down just so she could go and get that cookie from Marcy. And Marcy was just such a wonderful person to work with. She would take on any task. Did not matter how terrible the assignment was, no matter how early it was, how late it was. She was down to really go out there and do her best job possible. All the way. She will definitely be dearly missed. I've already talked to a few school principals and other people who work at the County Office of Education because she came out and she would take pictures at the academic decathlon, at the spelling bees, any of the special events we had. And we all are just still in disbelief that we won't have, this lady running around with this big camera bag trying to take all these pictures really quickly and get to the other side of the room. She will be dearly missed.
Marcy Stenberg chronicled the life of Merced County.
And she did a great job at that. We are now out of time, but we thought that we should just take a few minutes since Mike and I both worked with her and just bring up some of these positive memories, and hopefully folks out there have great positive memories of her. And if you do have some old Sunstars laying around, you should just take a look inside there, and I'm pretty sure you will find a picture from Marcy.
We miss you, Marcy.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.